The New York Mets keep rolling along, but there is one player on the team that I feel like I owe an apology to. And welcome back to New York Sports WickerMedia. I'm Wa2K99. Thank you, as always, for taking the time to watch these videos. So the New York Mets have ripped off 7 straight wins. They have actually won 11 out of 13 going back to June 3rd, which was right after that 10-game stretch against the West Coast teams. And what's been getting a whole lot of credit is Grimace, of course, the character from the fictional McDonald's universe. So it was on June 12th when he threw out the first pitch of the game before the Mets played the Miami Marlins. That night, the Mets scored 10 runs. They beat Miami 10-4, had 14 hits. And ever since then, it's become a bit of a cult hero. Now, look, I've got no issue with a silly mascot being the face of a rally. I mean, the Angels had the rally monkey. The Nationals had that godforsaken baby shark already, right? But ever since that game, the Mets have won 7 in a row. They beat the Marlins twice. They swept the San Diego Padres. And they have now taken the first 2 games in Arlington against the defending world champion Texas Rangers. And how about the playoff standings? My gosh, the Mets, you could say, are very fortunate that the National League is, to say the least, mediocre, and that 6 teams now make the playoffs. But before Grimace took that first pitch, the Mets were 28-37, 3.5 games back of the third and final wild card spot, with a whole lot of teams to jump. In fact, I've said this on my live show a couple of times. The only teams worse than them in the National League record-wise were Miami and Colorado. That was just unacceptable. But after this amazing come-from-behind win against the Rangers on Tuesday night, where they won 7-6, the Mets are now 35-37 and a half game behind the Arizona Diamondbacks for that third wild card spot. Long way to go, but hey, maybe not everybody needs to get traded or designated for assignment. Just a thought. And speaking of players who I wasn't exactly very high on, who I didn't think would be here very long, I want to give some props to Markvientos. Now, this is a prospect who I have been probably as tough on as I have been on any one of them. I'd seen him play live a couple of times, and I just was not impressed with what I saw when he was coming up through AA and AAA. I got to see him play in Norfolk when the Mets would visit, the AAA team would visit, and I saw a player very strikeout prone, no plate discipline, and just a complete nightmare at third base. I mean, he reminded me of my old high school third baseman who was about 220 pounds, but we put him there because he had a strong arm. He just couldn't move. God bless him. But you know what? Vientos has really turned a lot around. On Monday, he had 3 hits. Tuesday, he had 3 hits. He had the home run to get the scoring going. But even late in the game, I don't even want to talk about a home run that he hit. I'm not even going to talk about a base hit. I want to talk about the 8th inning, the at-bat he had there when he came up against David Robertson, well-respected veteran who's had a very good season for Texas. Mets have runners on first and second in the 8th inning, 1 out. Now, Vientos struck out, but I want to give him credit. He falls behind 0-2 to Robertson. And then Robertson spikes a few pitches because he's trying to get Vientos, I believe, to chase. I really don't think that Robertson was going to give him anything to hit if he didn't have to. But last year, Vientos would have swung through those pitches. He would have chased those pitches in the dirt, but he holds off. He battles back to make it a 2-2 count. Now, Robertson does strike him out with a great cutter, but it was a sign to me that Vientos continues to get better. And also, that those put a few extra pitches on Robertson's register, made him throw more of a stressful pitch at 2-2. And then what happens next at bat? Up comes Francisco Alvarez, works the full count, rips that double into the gap, which, my God, that was almost a 105-mile-an-hour hit into left center field, tie game. But the plate discipline, I want to come back to that with Markvientos. All you have to do is look at the strikeout rate. Now, even when he was hitting well, even when he was hitting a lot of home runs in the minors, it was at 28% or higher, no matter what year you look at. Last year in AAA, he finally started to get it into a good place. In AAA, his strikeout percentage was down to 21.6, but in the majors, it was about 30%. And that's why I just could not believe in him. Poor defense, slow runner, which, that is what it is. Just look at that one game against the Giants when Matt Chapman threw him out to end the game. So he'll never be Jose Reyes on the base paths, and I can understand that. I can live with that. But the strikeouts are what really bothered me. This year, though, his major league strikeout rate is down to 20.5%, down 10% from last season. That is impressive. Ever since Brett Beatty was demoted May 31st, Vientos has hit .333, that's 19 for 57, 3 home runs, 11 runs scored, 11 RBIs. Overall, if you look up the slash line, batting average, on base, and slugging, he's hitting .317, .375, and .554 for the whole season. And if you want to get a little more granular, if you want to look at WRC plus, wins run created plus, which measures league hitters on a league average of 100, Vientos is at 166, meaning he's graded at 66% better than the league average third baseman, if you want to look at that. But I felt with all the infield prospects the Mets had coming up, this guy at best case was going to be a designated hitter, and probably a right-handed designated hitter, only maybe in a platoon spot against left-handed pitchers. And you know what? Maybe best case he could take over for J.D. Martinez when he leaves or is traded. I don't think that's completely impossible, but who knows what he's going to be now. I saw right-handed power and nothing else for about 2 years. I did not blame Buck Showalter for not playing him last year. I did not blame the New York Mets for not bringing him up with the big club to start the 2024 season. But I'm not ready to call him the third base of the future, but he's capable of a lot more than what I thought for the last couple of years. For right now, he is an everyday player until he proves he isn't. And that is something to be excited about. Well, everybody, I'll tell you what. Reminder, Wednesday night is our live show. It's going to be at 10 o'clock for the next 2 weeks, starting July 3rd. We are going to move it to 6 p.m., so definitely hit your notification bell. Please subscribe if you haven't already. We are on the march to 1,000 subscribers. I appreciate everybody's support, and I will see you right back here with more content from you-know-where, the Wicker Chair.